Am I speaking loud enough? Yes? Excellent, thank you. It is the first session after lunch. I hope it is a bit warm in this room, hopefully nobody falling asleep. My name is Patrick Perrier. I'm the VP of Product at a company called Wiiisdom. We are a software company, and we'll tell you a little bit more later on about what we do. The weird accent, it is French-Canadian from Montreal, but after 25 years living in London. I'm told it sounds like Dutch sometimes, or German, I've heard. Irish, even sometimes living in London, it's a bit weird. I don't know if the machine here will translate correctly, but I will do my best. I can always switch to French. I see some people who would understand me if I did that, but let's not. Before I start, I'll give you a couple of minutes to read this, make sure everybody's okay. No? Okay, good stuff. All right, so yes, a little bit about me very quickly. It is my 4th TC. I'm very, very fortunate. Who has been here for the first time? Oh, wow, most of you, excellent. Well, I'm sure when you go back home, you will reflect about this conference, and there'll be something special about it, whatever it is. For me, the first one, TC 19 in Berlin, the last one that was done in Europe, and my career has been 25 years working with SAP Business Objects. Really old school stuff. And it was the first time I entered the Tableau world, and what was memorable for me was not the software itself. Of course, the software is really powerful, really good, but the community and the people around it. It is something I heard a lot, but it was really, really interesting to witness live with other people. Then I did TC 22, 3 years later after COVID. Very special for me because back then I was the only employee in London, so a lot of lockdown, a lot of not traveling, a lot of being on my own. So it was so awesome to meet again some colleagues for the first time. And memories of last year in Las Vegas, it was the first time that Wiiisdom had a booth there. We had stand exhibitors. There's a few of the usual suspects here, but there's a few Wiiisdomers in the room. Hello. So it was really awesome to be here. And this year, now, this is not a real picture. I had to submit these slides a week ago, but this is how I envisage it would be. A group of people having fun with the drinks. But I could guess that one of the big outcomes for me would be AI, and clearly Tableau Pulse, Tableau AI has been talked a lot. So yes, a lot of great memories, and I hope you go back home reflecting on this event and thinking, well, I need to do that again. Now, I would like you to remember 2 things from this session, and it's the word trust and the word governance. I'm not the only session talking about these keywords, because it is clearly important. So in this session, we'll talk about how we can enable trust in our data analytics solutions, and we'll also talk about how we can better govern our data and analytics solutions. The reason why I picked the Gordon Ramsay slide here, I find him entertaining, first of all, but 2, I always like the analogy of data and food and cooking. And just like we can have analytics with messy data, you can have a plate of food with messy kitchens. Now, who would like to eat food from a messy kitchen? Yeah, I don't see any hands here. So this is the idea here, is have trust, have governance in your data, people will want to eat it. So the agenda is very simple. We'll talk about analytics governance, and then we'll talk about this BI testing checklist that we have worked on. I attended the Data and Analytics Gartner conference a few weeks ago, and that was a big theme of all the sessions, and it was, would you bet your job, your reputation, your company on decisions made with analytics? Now, everybody here make decisions with analytics, that's the point of it. But if somebody said, are you like 1,000,000,000% sure that the decision you're making right now is absolutely correct? Would you bet your job, your reputation, your company on seeing a number and saying, there's no way I'm wrong? Send information to these regulators and say, there's no way I'm giving something wrong here. Most people claim that they have a doubt in this, and I see a few that nothing here, which is great. Now, I like this analogy. It is not from me, I stole it though. Think about your kids saying, hey, I want to organize a party. Now, when I saw that slide, it was young kids party. My daughters are 17 and 20, so I took a different kind of pictures. And if one of my girls said, hey, Daddy, I want to organize a party at home, would I say, oh yeah, sure, it's fine, I'll come back tomorrow, right? Have fun. Yes, I see somebody with teenagers, yes? Now, it's not about, I could say three things. Sure, I'll come back later. No, you're not having a party. Or what kind of parties? Well, what about you can go in the garden, in the basement, maybe you leave the dining room out, or no alcohol after 11 or something like that. Yeah, so, it's not, governance is not about stopping people doing what they need to do. I like to think it's about boundaries. Just some rules, some policies, so we can all experiment. Let's go back to that pictures I used earlier, right? It's the world of AI. Nobody wants to stop using AI. We don't want to stop innovation. We don't want to stop the self-service of analytics. And we shouldn't be telling people too much what to do. But if it's a free-for-all or a bit of Wild West, we see the picture on the left. So I went to Bing AI and I said, hey, we're a company called Wiiisdom. I'm attending a Tableau conference and show that we're having a bit of fun and having a drink. And then it came with a picture on the left. Now, if I just blindly copy and paste that and I give that to some people, well, there's a few problems. Wiiisdom is not spelled properly. There are 3 I's, but not 4. The Tableau is spelled incorrectly. Conference is not there. This guy is supposed to be me, too young with too much hair. So this picture is incorrect. So again, how do we use analytics, use data, use AI, use polls, all of these things, but still have confidence that what we're doing is right, so there is no lack of trust and issues. Governance. I said there'll be 2 words today, trust and governance. I'm back to this again. So, all of you here, I'm 100% sure you do some sort of data governance at very least. Yeah? People have been doing this for 25, 30 years. You have your transactional database, you have your ETLs, your data warehouse, data lake, there's data cataloging, there's data lineage, there's tons of stuff here. But we need to test the entire chain. We need to make sure that the analytics is right, because at the end of the day, we like to call that the last mile, will be the French company, the last kilometer. Users make decisions with that thing at the end, not a SQL query, not a data set. And we need to check the entire chain, because although we want to do well and we do a lot of governance, there's a lot of very common errors. Here's one here. I don't know if anybody identifies to that, but hey, here's my dashboard. I need to make some decisions about investing or hiring people or whatever, and the number doesn't seem right. I know my margin is always between 8 and 10%, and here it says something different. Did it happen to anybody? Yes, of course, it is a very common problem. Oh, this one here. This one is very common. Everybody can identify with that one. HR data. You see 2 reports. One says I have 100 employees, the other one says 108. Both are potentially correct. Do you count full-time employees, part-times, people on leave or not? So again, having different numbers though does not give confidence that either of them is right. And then there's this one here, adoption. Even if the data is right, if the content is unusable, too slow or unavailable, again, this is not great for people. So a lot of common problems despite spending a lot of time, energy, money, and a lot of will in that. That's because the analytics layer is often overlooked. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. People come to see us. We have a big booth, by the way, in the data village. People come and they say, hey, my data is right. We use Databricks, Snowflake or something. We use prep flows. I'm telling you, my data is right. Why would my analytics be wrong? What do you think? Is that a fair statement?
No.
Yes? Yeah. All of these things here. When you build a Tableau, you don't, unless I'm wrong, but when you build a Tableau, you connect to one or many data sources. These data sources, what do you do then? You import some of the data, that data, is it live or refresh? If it's refresh, is it up to date? Then you'll create some calculations, right? These calculations, did you make a mistake or not? I've seen a lot of people doing aggregates on aggregates. That is obviously not going to do anything. So many things can go wrong because you continue some data work, some data prep, some formatting. Oh, okay, here's another one. Who has ever published a dashboard in production and forgot to reset the filters to all? Oh, I see a lot of Ghanaian people laughing. So it is a common thing. You change filters, and just make sure everything's right, you publish it, you forgot to reset. Yeah, but now in 2024, and we'll see it again, because we've been doing this for 16 years with SAP Business Objects. In 2025, the phone will ring in the office and people will say, my data is wrong. You have a hard-coded formula for 2024. That's it. We have a hard-coded filter. So silly examples, but a lot of consequences. Trust. So lack of trust, obviously financial issues, and maybe your reputation. For those of you in the regulated industries, you have to give compliant content. So trust is a problem. So let's go back to that party picture. How do we promote innovation, self-service, but at the same time make sure it's not the Wild Wild West? This is a slide from Tableau blueprint here. So introduce boundary conditions, enforce policies, have enablers. Enablers is tools, solutions, processes to make sure that you have governance. So do it on the data, as I'm sure you do it today, but continue with the content. You need to do content, governance, and that is with testing, security, the data validation inside of the content, promotion between environments, regression testing, and so on. Now, if we have a look at this maturity curve here, this is typically what we see when we meet people at our booth. And I say, well, how does it work, right? You're in development at some point, you will test somehow, probably manually, and then you will promote in promotion, and then you're happy. Now, who's making sure that the data source, the prep flows, the workbooks, how do you make sure it's still okay? Most people tell us, well, we're reactive. Somebody at some point will have a problem and tell us and we'll fix it. Now, that's great when it's internal users, that's great when it's not regulated content, and that's great when you have time. People are busy. I don't know how many data sources and workbooks you have, but they will be in the hundreds or thousands. So you cannot, just hope for the best and be reactive all the time. So some people will be, well, listen, once in a while we'll do quick checks because we know that drivers have been updated and the ETL something, and the IT guys have done something in our security. So there'll be occasional checks, which is great. Or you'll have some processes, but they will be manual. So what we're saying is to reduce the risk, you got to move to automated testing. So test a lot and test frequently. And the nirvana, the top, is not only you test a lot, you are automated with all of your different processes, so your data prep as well, and you certify content. And this is what we'll talk about here. Imagine a world where the consumers, the business users, embedded analytics. Imagine these users who, maybe some of you are monetizing your content. Actually, that was interesting to see in the keynote that there'll be a marketplace where you'll be able to sell these things, right, in the future. So imagine you're selling your analytics, but you could let the users know, or you internally will know that I have confidence in this. It is right. And this is where we have this quote from Gartner here, is let the user know, have a visual indicator, a watermark or something, so the users know that their content has been tested recently and it's been tested with success or with failure. I would rather know, when I start the car, if it tells me I don't have any gas in my car, I would like to know right there and then, and not discover when this car stops working, right? This is the idea here. Users, your thing is not certified. Don't use it, call the data owner or the content owner. And at Wiiisdom, we have created our own Tableau extension, which is available on the Exchange to help you certify your content. So that extension has two modes, a free version, go and enjoy it. It's a manual mode, so you can manually switch from certified to decertified, and it's an extension you can add in your workbook. But if we go back to the maturity curve, if you want to be fully automated and dynamically certify and decertify at scale, this is where you can link our extension with our product called Wiiisdom for Tableau. So again, it's a freebie, go and enjoy it. You want to be fully dynamic automated, and linked it with our solution called Wiiisdom. Now, we talked about governance, we talked about the benefits, let's talk about the checklist. How do we make this happen? So the idea is, of course, to secure the future of your organization, of your role, with dashboards and reports that you can trust. And we have separated that in 3 different categories. The first one is test your dashboards, reports. It should say data sources here, of course. For what? For accuracy. Is the data right? Now, raise your hand if you've never had a data source extract that did not refresh. Yes. So there's always something going on. It didn't run, it ran for too long, the security, something happens with the ETL or something. So is the data in your extract good, or, correct? But also, is the data inside of the dashboard? Remember, you connect to a source, and once you connect to that source, you will create your calculations, your filters, and all that. You are transforming that data. Accuracy is important. User experience. User experience drive adoption. None of you here are creating these things to not be used. So is my dashboard opening with the right performance? Now, a lot of people are cheating a bit. They don't load all of the data because they know there's too many. So there's a parameter, and then you load just part of the data. So then what you do, you select parameters, and then you put filters. Great. When you put the first parameters or the first filter, does it take 8 seconds to refresh or 25? As if you're laughing a lot. I mean, I think you've experienced all of these problems at once, maybe. Yes, good stuff. So yeah, the user experience is important. So in terms of the test, why can't you not just do performance testing like Agile used to do? No, really simulate interacting with your dashboard as if you were a real user and document the performance. Now, is your design adhering to your best practices, of course, in your corporate policies? Security of your data, row-level security. We work a lot with regulated industries, of course, to make sure that person A can see only their data and so on. So you won't validate that a lot. And the performance, not only of the interaction, but of the platform itself if you are on Tableau server. All right, second thing is put in place a BI strategy. So you know what you have to test, but it needs to be done. Now, some people will say, well, we have hundreds and thousands of things, we can't test everything. If you have a solution like ours, why not? You have an engine testing everything. But if you do it manually or with some sort of automation, you may want to, base your testing based on the most relevant content. So what is considered enterprise or regulated, the most used content. We have customers that have a corporate dashboard which is used by the board. It's only used once a month, but it doesn't matter. That one cannot be wrong. Regression testing. Most of you, I assume, are with Tableau server. Is that fair? Yes, Tableau server. But more and more of you are going to Tableau Cloud. Now, Tableau Cloud is updated several times a year automatically without notice. Now, depending on your industries, you could be, I love this, I hate patching Tableau server, which is great. Older industries will say, I do not like this force upgrade, because that dashboard that I know works today in 2024. Whatever, when Tableau Cloud is updated, how do I know it still works? And even if it's 99% sure going to be all right, that 0.1% is not acceptable in regulated industries. Therefore, regression testing. So test before your Tableau server upgrades, and if you have Tableau Cloud, Make sure you document. We call that a baseline. You can use Wiiisdom for that. You can use other ways. Create a baseline, and when Tableau Cloud is updated, you say, hey, I want to replay here. I want to compare my baseline and what's live now, and tell me if there are any regressions. Alert, inform, certify your content. There's emails, there's Slack, there's Teams, and remember, visually certifying in content. Some of you will use Embedded Analytics Portal, inform your community that the content has been tested and recently. Imagine, what is that? 30th of November 2023. Great, it's been certified in November. Am I happy with that? Maybe yes, maybe not. And I'm unlikely going to be happy if it was certified 4 months ago or 5 months ago. Automate to avoid burden, spending a lot of time, and also just test everything. That's great. Now, when should you run all these tests? Before information is shared. You know when board meetings are. You know when regulators will ask for things. You know when your ETL and your data extracts are refreshed. You know when you're going to patch your Tableau server. So test when before information is shared, and I'm jumping a bit to the last one here. Important events like migrations, database migrations is another big one we see. Have a development lifecycle, and I know for now it's not easy with Tableau Cloud because you have one site, although that was great to hear this will change real soon. But yes, it's not cliche to say start a development, have testing, maybe some sort of approval. I was in your session earlier today. GitLab's people right there, they have an approval process, which I thought was really interesting. DevOps principles, right? We used to call it analytics ops for a little while, and then we moved to analytics governance. But anyway, yes, development lifecycle is very important. Make sure people have approved the content before it's consumed. It adds a bit of effort, but like your colleague said, it's like a second stamp of approval, right? It's important for the enterprise content. Now, people say, and I said that earlier today, well, I tested before putting it in production. Why is there going to be any problem? Extract, not refreshing, being one of them, and the entire lineage can have issues. So Tableau maybe works perfectly, the developers maybe the perfect job. It's something external, so far away that the Tableau people don't even know that can create problems. That is something very underestimated. There could be some guy in some countries changing something, and that will have an impact several levels down the line, affecting your Tableau. And then, of course, events like updates and so on and so on. Right, I spoke really quickly, which is great. You have a bit of time. We'll have time for questions. And the idea here is, like I said at the beginning, it's not to say don't party, don't have fun, don't innovate, don't self-service, but do it responsibly, do it with some boundaries, with some rules that are implemented automatically with automation, so you can track problems before anybody else. I think this is my last slide nearly. Like I said, we have a big booth, 107 in the middle of the data village. There's an entire team of Wiiisdomers, as we like to call ourselves, come to say hello. I'll be here for a few more minutes for questions, or we can talk downstairs. Although nobody here read all of the disclaimer at the beginning, there was a reason. We are currently co-innovating with Tableau to implement version control and a recycle bin for Tableau. Recycle bin for Tableau, that's crazy. So if anybody wants to co-innovate with us, give your feedback, be early adapter, come and see us at the booth. I'm the head of product here, so you'll be discussing with me and some of my team about how we can help with version management and a recycle bin, rolling back all the trails of your content, and so on. So we should have something to be released around Dreamforce. But between now and Dreamforce, we have time to co-innovate. Come and see me. And finally, and it's right here, the BI checklist. I had 3 slides here, but we have a fully printed booklet with lots of details. If you come at the booth, we have a bunch of them. I'm happy to give them to you. It may cost some of my colleagues to scan your badge for the privilege, but here you go, come and get it. If you're in sport, I'll give this one to you. Here we go. Without scanning your badge. Congratulations. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for your time. I'm around again. I'll stay here for a few minutes. If you have any questions, we'll be at the booth later on. Have a great day tonight. Thank you.